kind of have stuff to talk about.
Were you in my ass?
That was a good time.
I think so.
Finishing that event, I peed myself for the first time.
And we loved every second of it.
Some of us had wheelbarrows that were better built than others.
Or knew how to load them correctly.
Get off before the sand.
I thought you hated CrossFit and you de-affiliated all your gyms and everybody lost their mind.
I'm really excited about this Mayhem NC Fit collaboration.
Let's start again. And
That was at the CrossFit Games.
Because I'll never remember, like, you remember Tony Budding's eyeballs that would just, like, when he was in, like, the mode, and he looked at me and he just said that.
See any of that stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, true.
I remember when they announced Tyga, and I
didn't know
thought,
who he was.
That's
and I thought to myself,
No, nobody did.
this is a problem. No, because I knew who he was. Because
You guys listened to some
because Spencer Hendel really liked like rap.
You guys listened to some hard stuff at Reebok.
We did. We really did. And it wasn't, we had just other coaches really enjoyed it.
Right.
And I,
of
I'm
course.
for the people. And
Man of the people.
And I remember when we announced Tyga, and someone, I think it was like Spencer, was like, "That can't happen." I was like, "Why?" And he played one song. I was like, "That's why."
Do you remember when Miranda did the rap? Well, that was with you.
That was me, yeah.
Oh, man, with the chains.
Yep, that was a CrossFit joint.
I don't remember that.
You wouldn't. It was in between events, and but damn, it was fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, are we recording? We're recording. So
We're
I
live.
have...
We're live.
Okay, we're live. I was
Do it
just
live.
I was on my way to Cookville. I was thinking about Rich Froning with your shirt on, and
thanks, man.
I was thinking about one of my favorite memories, dude. So we've done a lot of different things here we could talk about.
Yep.
But one of my favorite was we were at the Team USA. We were competing. So the first time we competed for Team USA, we won by like a pretty good
London?
margin
Yep.
in London. And like, dude, that was incredible, right? We were in like this hangar. It was badass. The next year comes around.
When we destroyed the easel?
And we finish and we lose.
Oh yeah.
And we shouldn't have lost, but
That's a whole
we lost.
other.
It doesn't matter. But either case. So we lose and we're going into like the locker or whatever it was. And Rich is like, he just nails this easel, just like, I don't know, kicks it or whatever. And like almost like out of a scene out of like a Happy Gilmore where like the caddy kind of like goes up afterwards and like kicks it. I like, yeah, and like gave like a kick too.
And Ben Smith, I think.
And then Ben Smith.
I think it was more like Planet of the Apes. We all just started smashing this easel.
this easel like took the brunt.
Like Office Space. It was the printer.
It really was.
It was the printer. It was the printer from Office Space.
I'm
man.
a poor loser.
That was a good time.
That was not my, I wasn't real happy that day.
Man.
And the world didn't expect it either. You know. Oh. We're like, well, what's happening?
Yeah. We won't get into that.
Yeah, that was
a memory that just goes and is buried. You know?
Yeah. Well, we just brought it back up.
Yep.
that was a good one.
Well, and the unfortunate part is, I looked for all these, just some memories, but that London event exists nowhere, and I forget it was exclusively on somebody's website, and now there's just like cell phone camera stuff.
I
So
saw a video of us doing it was the box jumps at the end.
Oh,
Gosh,
yeah.
it hurt my Achilles to watch it. Like
Yeah.
we were doing rebounding box jumps, I think at 30 inches or something like that.
Dude, well, remember that one? It was
On concrete.
so that was like in this airport hangar or whatever.
Yep.
It was you and me, Chan.
That was different. Berlin was the airport hangar because it was a World War II
that's right.
hangar. London was in like,
some venue, it was like
yeah.
What was the year that we were behind? So it was the first event, right? I think maybe it was the first event of the series, and it was you and Julie Fouché.
The thruster thing or that London you're talking about is Isabel. We did Isabel.
Oh no!
one?
Remember, it was the
sorry.
box jump. It was like something. Oh, like a thruster box jump workout, and we were behind. It was me and whatever, and we like caught up at the end. Anyways,
I don't remember.
I'll have to go back and go
There's
look
so
at it.
many.
How many
of them.
were there? Were there 3?
Well,
No, so I did London, Berlin, San Jose. I actually did Madrid as well.
Okay.
And then
And I did Toronto. I did 5.
I was going to
and then it went to Australia.
And then it went to
after you were done.
Australia. And the last 2, I wasn't even supposed to be on the team.
I remember
And
that.
somebody would get hurt. And so Dave was like, you can just compete.
They
And
tap
so
you
then
in.
the last time, because I was supposed to coach. And then the last time when they were like, hey, you can be the coach to go to Australia. I was like, nah, bro, there's no chance I'm going to compete. Because let's be honest, I didn't want to coach. I wanted to compete. So.
I would say that out of all the things I've done in CrossFit, probably my favorite. So we've done a few open announcements that were pretty gnarly. Like those were pretty cool. We've done the games,
Yeah.
whatever. But the Team USA was probably
best.
my favorite.
The best.
And probably London being it. Like, I remember we finished
I
London.
don't know. San Jose was pretty awesome.
San Jose was awesome too. That was a good win for us, especially coming back. But
And
do you
it was
remember in London? I
the
felt like we were
venue.
the Beatles or something, bro. Like dude, it's because at that point, CrossFit was like, it wasn't like the athletes didn't really get over to Europe.
Yeah.
I just remember we finished, bro, and you and I, it was like bombarded by
I
people.
thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
Thought I was going to die. Yeah, that was before I had
That was like
used to.
Well, in the next year, you had like a special entrance to the games at some point. Like,
Yeah.
They were like, "Hey, Rich, just come on to this entrance."
Yeah, it was awesome, but at that point I was not ready for social interaction at that level or the amount of touching.
There was
there
a lot of touching.
There's
now
always
it's, it
touching,
is
yeah.
what it is, but at that time I was not ready for that
Yeah.
whatsoever. Yeah, I remember I used to the first couple years at the games. There was that. The entrance was you walked into StubHub or whatever it was back then, and you'd walk into this stairwell and go down, and I would just sit up top of the stairwell, and like there's a nice breeze through, and you just kind of hang out there between events, and then all of a sudden it was like you can't do that anymore.
That system of tunnels at Home Depot or
Depot's-
whatever you want to call it now,
Home Depot,
Stub
but
now,
originally,
right?
yeah.
That was my favorite thing about that venue because I had it figured out.
Dude.
You could be like, just pop up somewhere else like Mario Kart.
Bro, when we went from the 08 games being on the ranch to 09 being on the ranch, right? I remember when we showed up in 2010 to the Home Depot Center and we were underground, like in that like basement area where you
Smelled like
smelled like lawnmower.
Well, yeah,
exactly.
Grass and gasoline.
Because the trucks were running
Yeah.
next to the warm up area.
They were.
Yeah, like so we had like some like loungers, right? They like threw some loungers and a couple pillows.
Yeah, there's the loungers. Those loungers were legit though.
Right.
and some paleo kits.
Paleo kits and like some protein powder. And right next to you were all of the production trucks, and they were running.
Yeah.
So we were just like huffing exhaust in between events. And we loved every second of it.
It was great.
It was great. We take a nap down there. Some people never woke up. Yeah.
Sleeping under the truck.
Yeah.
Dude, but that year, man, I remember being out in the tennis stadium wasn't very crowded at that point, right? It
There was
wasn't
like
filled.
6 people.
We
there.
did an event in the stands. Okay, just to be
We did.
Yeah, like
That was by design. That was shut down.
no,
the
no,
wheelbarrow. Yeah, like
Yeah, I mean, some of us had wheelbarrows that were better built than others,
Or
but,
knew how to load them correctly.
one or the other.
well,
I mean,
Rory put them together. Pretty
Correct.
much.
Well, I think the ones that broke were put together by Miranda and Pat. Yeah.
dude, talk about variance. But yeah, anyways, but I just remember going there, man, and being like, wow, this is crazy. And then the next year,
Yeah, it exploded in a lot.
that tennis stadium, man, when we were underneath
Special.
the lights, it was special.
Yeah, we
Insane.
talked about that with Boz the other night. That one year we did the national anthem,
Yeah.
and then like when the fireworks went off, that was the start of the event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Oh, well, one year we did Amanda, and
Tell us how that went.
Yeah, 1 year.
one year we talk about redemption.
Did you redo it?
Well, no, I redid it. So Amanda didn't go as planned for me, and then fast
2010.
forward for the Rogue Invitational.
That was not how you'd planned it.
That was not how I planned
Okay.
it. Fast forward at the Rogue Invitational for the Legends event.
That's right. That was
They announced that we were going to do Amanda, and I was like, all right. So I was in. You know what I'm talking about. You just did one event or something like that. You just did Amanda at the Rogue Invitational.
Yeah. Yeah, well, because I was competing on the team.
You were competing on the team. So I remember we got the notice from Katie or whatever, like, hey, you're going to be doing this workout. I was like, oh shit. I was like PTSD coming up. So I immediately, as soon as I found out I was in Chicago, I went to the first gym I could find. And I went and just like made sure I could do it. And like,
still got it.
well, not even just still got it. Like, okay, hey, you're going to be fine.
That's
like,
the first time you'd done that workout since the games?
Dude, I had some major, no, I mean, I had probably done it since. But
Okay.
so at the CrossFit Games, that was the year that was like the burpee bar chaser. And I ended up like flat on my face. That was, I don't know what year, was that 2010?
What? The
Burpee bar, the Amanda. What year was Amanda?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was
I
2010 when you
watched
Burpee
that-
bar chaser.
I watched that event from
Now I
the
get it.
stands, Jason, because I was in a previous heat.
Me
I think
too,
me and
yeah.
Neil were in the same heat or something. So I'd actually finished, and I sat up in the stands and watched my hero just crash and burn. my CrossFit hero at the
Dude,
time.
I crashed and burned, but I went full
You
send.
Hey, is it true that Begebing had you like doing snatch catches and drops to not blow out your legs? This is from Castro, so I don't know how true it is, but
That was true.
yeah, all right.
I was practicing the receiving position and then not standing up, so I would dump it but
nice Kendrick Ferris. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but
with 135.
the reason why I crashed and burned on that was like, dude, I think I was like, I went back and I watched it like a couple of years ago. I was like one muscle up away and like one snatch away. I just could not connect my brain with my body.
We saw.
You know what a lot of people don't know is like, dude, I ended up laying there on that Home Depot. Like I probably laid there for like a good hour and then they had to cart me off.
Is that the worst you've ever felt from a workout?
Well, the year before I passed out on the run.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, that one, no, yeah, honestly, probably, yeah, Amanda was probably my worst.
That's probably the most human moment that I've ever seen from, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen plenty of people in a regular gym get to a point where they're like, I just can't do it.
Dude, I was just smoked.
Yep.
Well, and there's because of the camera angles too, like, and I don't know, like, there's a way in which that you can see it where, like, you see yourself launching this barbell at the boom.
Well, part of it is because the guy is trying to get out of the way.
Yes.
So it's like,
yeah.
they
So like,
have it on the camera.
So it's like it's so chaotic because you are like coming at the camera, like falling forward, and then like the bar, like they switch the camera, the bar like goes to it's out of control for the viewer. Like, and I don't think that's ever happened since where like you kind of sense like this is not happening as planned.
So the early days of CrossFit were a lot of that, though, or at least for mine, because like, dude, I went all in all the time, right? And you know, I was using Rich as an analogy yesterday a couple of days ago at the police department. I was like, guys, the goal is to be a Ferrari, and I was using an example of like training so hard that you could be a Ferrari going 100 miles an hour is like chilling, right? Whereas like a Miata or whatever would be 100 miles an hour, would be like at its top threshold. I was like, you know, you want to be like a Ferrari where you could be like 100 miles an hour and just chilling where the other competitors are like out of their mind, blah, blah. I was like this guy, Rich Froning, we'd be going the same speed and he would just look like he's just like smoking a cigarette, drinking a beer. And I'm over here like dying over here.
Bro. It's all lies.
I'm over here dying. Yeah. But anyways, back in early days of CrossFit, it's like, dude, I remember when we started off, do you guys remember when double days became a thing?
I think we started it.
Yeah,
Me and Darren, the first time we did it, we were like, we didn't die. I remember watching Tony Bunning. We talked about this before. Tony Bunning was like, you could die doing 2 workouts, you know? And then we did 2 workouts and we didn't die.
Still here.
Let's do it again.
And then all of a sudden it went from 2 to 3.
To 8 to 10.
Well, and in fairness, like you guys are talking about that wheelbarrow event, I think that was a Wednesday and you guys had a Thursday.
No, that was Friday.
That was Friday? Okay, you're right.
So we started Friday night that year.
Okay.
But we had like...
But it kept creeping, right?
And it was 13 events in 3 days that year.
Yeah.
It was crazy. One of the worst workouts still... And to back up before we go forward, I always tell people, I wish I could go back to the beginning of CrossFit because you didn't know how bad stuff hurts. Now you know how to pace stuff. Well, some people know how to pace stuff. Some people don't. But you like overpace at times. You're like, I'm going to get to that line. I've missed those days when you're just like, let's go. You know, it's hard.
Well, I think that's also from like a spectator perspective. I think that was part of the allure.
Yeah.
I think part of the allure back in
watching
like
people crash
2011,
like
12,
NASCAR.
13, 14, 15, and 16 is that people are still trying to figure it out. Now it's like everybody's very efficient. They're calculated. They have heart rate monitors on. I mean, I'm not saying that's a terrible thing, but man, sometimes you just want to watch some people just get a little wild.
I know.
You know?
I know, because people will come up to me like, I really like watching you. I'm like, why? And they're like, because you owe it's like because I would always crash and burn, right? And they're like, yeah, like you just never know what you're gonna get. I'm like, well, thank you, I guess. But
I just remember you and your skins compression doing that box jump. I told you this on the phone the other day, dude. That box jump deadlift workout at regionals. I was like,
I watched that video the other day.
I was like, this guy.
Yeah. The deadlift range of motion. The 30-inch box jump was more for you. So
yeah.
I mean, it's half my height.
It is half your height.
Literally,
So
yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But the deadlift is like,
Yeah. He's got extended arms.
That's right.
The pyramid double Helen might be one of the worst workouts ever at the games that I've ever done. It was so bad. I remember walking to the stadium and you were doing it. You were still on the track because I think you were in the heat before me or two.
Yeah. Into shoulder to overhead.
Yeah, 90
I
seconds.
could not figure out, like, it was literally like a video game trying to like get radar lock on the bar to put the plate on. I was so messed up after that workout.
Dude, I remember that one. You know what's funny about that? So that year at the games, they said it was shoulder to overhead. And I remember that I did whatever weight it was. Because you did this double Helen and then you had like X amount of time.
90 seconds from when you finished.
And then
from the minute your workout ended, mind you.
Right.
Not fair.
Right into shoulder overhead. And I remember I finish And then Graham Holmberg does it from a back rack.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this guy.
I'd never seen that before.
Never before.
Not gonna lie.
And I was
Never
like,
before.
this guy, what a genius, you know?
I could barely get the thing.
Yeah.
I was drunk. Drunk.
I lost my plates.
Bars going
I had a
everywhere.
yard sale. Only got like one lift. Like literally, like Chris Clever jerked more than I did that year.
Oh, man.
I'll never forget it. I was like, oh, this is.
I didn't know this whole podcast would be about reminiscing of the past, but I could. Did you know which one was funny? Matt Mertzky. This was 2008 CrossFit Games. And
Every second counts?
every second counts. I'm sitting in the stands and I'm watching the final event, which was a squat clean thruster. I'll never forget this guy. He bounces it off the dirt. He receives it about like at maybe thigh height and then receives it in a front squat. And I'm watching, and as I'm telling my wife, I'm like, dude, you see that guy right there? That's genius. I'm like pointing
I'm
at
going
him.
to do it.
And as I'm pointing,
Dave comes over.
Dave's like, those last 10 reps don't count.
just takes away 10.
How many times did that happen, though? Do you remember the sled push?
Oh, yeah.
Dave comes to the final heat. He's like, do you see what Maddox did? We're all like, yeah.
Yeah, we're
He's
gonna
like,
do it.
Don't do that. And you're like,
When you lifted
how is
it
that
up.
fair?
Yeah.
For you to take away his score? No. Like, those early days where they'd be like, hey, no. You know that score that just won? You can't do
Changing
that.
the rules.
Man.
Like, you know, it obviously wasn't either tested or thought about at that point. And then you're just like, no, we're changing it. You can't do that.
Dude.
Well, and then it became like there were specialists behind the scenes who were like literally, and this is a compliment. We would take Bill Grundler and be like, "Hey, Bill, cheat on this open workout. Like, how would you do it?"
Yeah.
He's like doing burpees like from the splits. And you're like, "Okay, that's a good
To
one."
come back to that movement, me and it was one of the years we were doing the team series in the fall. We used to do. We were with I think it was Catcher and Annie and me and Bridges, and so we did a clean and jerk from 185. You would drop, you'd catch it, but you'd go down, touch, and come. So you weren't Mursky-ing it where you'd catch it in the hang. You'd actually still go down.
Yeah.
But it saved you from like having to
Fully
bring it down,
centric.
right? So we do the workout, smash it. Then we get the uncommon movement clause. It's uncommon, and they just dock you points, you know?
The uncommon movement
We
clause.
did the team a few times. I remember I came out. I flew to.
And we were
in Ohio one time.
Yep.
And we were all prepped and ready. And it started off with double unders. And I remember like 3 times in a row I tripped up on my first double under. And Rich just looks at me.
Stop.
I just like stop. And then Rich, I remember I look at Rich after like the third time. He looks at me. He's like, bro. Like, are you like messing around right now? Like, what are you doing? Like, you have to do 100 double unders. Why are we even like?
Yeah, what's going
on here?
Team series.
The
those
teams.
events.
All right, I'm going to time us out, and viewers are going to hate me for it, but we're going to like do a whole episode. So this is a good promo for a whole episode of Memory Lane. But we kind of have stuff to talk about.
Do we?
We do. We got Jason visiting here, not just because we love each other. We got great shared history, but we're doing some incredible things together. Really based largely on the shared history here.
Yep.
So I guess the way I'd like to segue is to say, like you mentioned that you were at a police department yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I exaggerated. It was like a week ago, but yes.
Okay, fine. So a week ago, but recently, and
Embellish.
You got
embellished a little bit.
You got some new focuses, and I'd love to hear, like right now, like what's the main focus for Khalipa?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think everybody over time has to like evolve, right, and find what they feel passionate about and pursue it. And so I started off in the fitness space when I was 15, working at the front desk of a health club. And then I found CrossFit, opened up my first CrossFit gym at in 2008. So I was 21, 22 years old. And that's been an incredible journey with NC Fit. And I still own and operate brick and mortar gyms. I still do that. But a couple of years ago, I started a company called Train Hard because I wanted to help men. I wanted to support like a community that I found it needed support. And so we created online programs. I started working with law enforcement. I got into jiu-jitsu about 10 years ago. So anyways, where I'm at right now is I host weekly workouts for men in a parking lot for free. I do free virtual meetups for guys. I put out programs largely geared towards men. And the vision is just to help more guys be able to train hard so they could run, jump, climb, lift, and be able to go do stuff with their kids. And I'm deeply passionate about that, just helping, because I would just notice, like, as my kids got older, because my daughter's 14, my son's 11, I would just notice a lot of dads around me who couldn't do things with their kids. Like, they physically couldn't go do it. And I was like, man, we have a solution to this problem. And I wanted to help them more. And so that really called to me. And then with the law enforcement, I feel like we've been given this gift of like these cliff notes that we've received the last 20 years of fitness. And so I go into departments and I work with them because I want to try and help them get home to their family safe. That's really important to me. Like, I don't serve in that capacity So the least I could do is go train them so that they can get fitter, so they can get home to their families. Like, so those are things that are deeply calling to me. And it's just evolved over the years.
I mean, I know you had family stuff to balance, but it's a shame you couldn't be here on Saturday because it was a really cool event. We had Everyday Hero just wrapped up. You guys will be seeing this content way later, but that's what it was. It was all, firefighters, military, first responders we got a chance to celebrate them. So the entire event was the best in class. You kind of mentioned why, but why men specifically? I mean, obviously you're a dude, and obviously that's who you can speak to that authentically, but.
I felt pulled. I felt really drawn to it. I got a lot of signs. Like I've been diving deeper into my faith. I felt like I got signs just to pursue that. Like, I felt like I have a pulling energy to help these men. And I saw it in the park. Like about 2.5, almost 3 years ago, I was at a men's club meetup for my kids' school. And we were, like having pizza, having a couple of beers, nothing crazy. Right. And I just like looked around and I was like, man, like, why don't we go do some fitness? Because that's all I've known, right? Through jiu-jitsu, through CrossFit, is like we connect so well through fitness. It doesn't matter your age, your race, how much money you make. Like you can connect people. So after that, I said to the guys, I was like, hey, I'd really love to take you guys on a ruck. And it started off with a ruck, and then it evolved. And I just felt drawn to it. And so now we take sandbags in a parking lot, and we just get after it. And we get about 100 guys in the parking lot. We go grab coffee after. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel very called to it. And I feel like it's something that I want to get more men involved in. So I don't know how else to say it that way.
Yeah. And then actually, when my kids were like little, I'll never forget this. We went to Disneyland, and there was another group from Santa Cruz who had come down, and the parents they got the little wheelie, like motorized carts.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know what's going on. What's going on with you guys? And they were like, it's just easier this way. And they were like, you can carry your bags and you can get to the front of the line. And it blew my mind because here I've got a backpack with like 3 days worth of crap for my kids to walk around. And I'm like, I couldn't compute what they were saying. Like they just didn't want to, make themselves fit enough to be productive with their kids. And it blew my mind. That's really cool. And then if you don't mind, I've really noticed like a faith element coming in. Can you speak to that and how it fits?
Well, and just one quick note on like the men's club that I do is like, it just kind of all evolved organically. Like it's weird how some of these things kind of come into place. Like I never had a vision of growing men's clubs. I just wanted to get guys together in parking lot because I felt like, especially where I live. So I live in the Silicon Valley. Everywhere I look is technology. Everywhere. We have the biggest companies in the world for AI, for Google, you name it. And I feel like we've never been more connected as a society, yet we're more disconnected than ever.
More broken.
Yeah. And especially the men. And I feel like when you shake someone's hand, right? Like it's great to catch up in person, man. Like I'll talk to you guys on the phone and whatever. It's cool.
It's not the same.
But when you shake someone's hand, there's something special that happens. And that's what we started to permeate in these parking lots. And I think we need more and more of that as we get more technological. Like technology should be used as a tool. Right now people are listening to this because of technology. I think it's great. But I think that we got to get back to some fundamental roots of community. And I think that's what the gyms provide. And I think that's what these clubs provide. But in regards to faith, that's been a journey I've been on for a while. So I think I first initially started my faith journey when Ava got sick in 2016. And Rich has probably seen some of this because I would reach out to him like, I mean, how many years have I been, even when we competed, I'd be asking him questions about faith. It's always been like on my mind. This isn't something new.
Yep.
And just as quickly or as long as you want, for people who are new to the space, can you just tell us what Ava went through?
Yeah. So my daughter got diagnosed with leukemia in 2016. So I competed professionally in CrossFit from 2008 till 2016. And then Ava got diagnosed with leukemia, so I retired from the sport. It was a pretty easy decision at that point just to really prioritize this. And at the time, you're kind of seeking. You're like, all right, you're in the hospital and you're just seeking. And I would reach out. And I remember one of the things I would remember competing with Rich and Dan Bailey in particular, and even Ben Smith too, several others, is I'd watch the faith they had. And I was almost like envious of it. I was envious of that, the fact that they have something as such a cornerstone in their life. And I wanted that, but I couldn't force it, and I had to become open. And so when she got sick, I started being more and more open. I kept searching, seeking. And then fast forward a little bit, kind of fades and comes in and fades and comes in. And then I'd say about 2 years ago, I was like, you know what? I really want to dive in. And so I started reading the Bible every single day. I started listening to all everything I consume is about positivity, lifting up. Like we were just talking about some of these podcasts I'm listening to. And it's just has made me a better person. Like when I wake up, when I wake up and I pray out loud and I express my gratitude and I read the Bible, I feel better for the rest of the day. And I've been doing that every day for now well over a year, and it's made me a better person. So, and then it's guided my decisions. Like I feel like this idea of iron sharpens iron continues to come up in my life. Like signs that are just like, I'll give you an example. I was, someone reached out to me and said, hey, the stuff you're doing with the men kind of reminds me of iron sharpens iron. It's a Proverbs 27:17. So I'm researching it. I'm like looking it up online. I'm very intrigued. And so I'm sitting in the sauna. It's like 6 a.m. and I'm Googling it. And I wanted to text a few friends about it. And I was like, it's too early. I don't want to text them. So I get out of the sauna. It's like 6:30 a.m. And I message only one person, Sal DiStefano from Mind Pump. Do you guys know who that is?
You showed me the recent podcast you did with him, but that's all. That was my first exposure.
Yeah. So I just text him out of the blue. I said, hey man, like this is really on my heart. I didn't send it to anybody else, but I wanted to send it to you. I don't know why. So I text it. And like literally, dude, I'd say 30 seconds later, he writes me back and it's a picture of him. He must have pulled over and it's a picture of him in his car. And he takes a selfie.
Shirt.
And he goes, weird. I'm wearing that shirt right now. I have the text still. And I'm like, So then you fast forward a little bit. I'm still seeking. I'm still growing. And by the way, I want to make sure I acknowledge this. Like I'm still trying to develop a relationship today and I will probably continue to for the rest of my life.
I think we all do. That's the point.
Fast forward a little bit and I get a Bible in the mail. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Charlie Zamora had asked me months earlier for my address and I gave it to him. He's a local guy by me, really good guy. And it's a leather bound custom Bible and it says iron sharpens iron on it, Proverbs 27:17. I call him. I was like, bro, you must have heard me talk about this or something. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, you must have heard me talk about iron sharpens iron or something. He's like, no, never. And it's just, and then after that, it just keeps coming up. So that's what I feel very drawn to right now. And I feel very focused on it.
Yeah. Does it factor into those groups, those men's groups?
Well, I feel like I feel like it's encouraging me to stay the course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, there's so many parallels in all of that. I think, you're talking about the face-to-face interaction. It's a huge thing with kids, young boys especially, like, hey, like we need to teach. I've had this kind of draw as of late. Obviously, I have Trice is 8 at this point, but the reoccurring thing is like we need to train our boys to be men and to be good men. And what is the ultimate example of that? And it's Christ, right? And so for me, it's perfect in the technology and with what we try to do with the hunt stuff is like a lot of people think, oh, life is easier when when we make it easy, like you're talking about riding around on a motorized cart. But we all know that anything that is worth anything, you have to earn it, right? And it needs to be hard. And we don't need to necessarily seek trouble, but we need to look for things that are hard, right? So I think the train hard stuff is a perfect, they're just, we could, and that's the farm yesterday. An interesting day, but, now that the kids are getting older, like we go out and we feed the bison, man, it's so cool to watch Trice last week. I told him, all right, he's been driving the side-by-side a ton, and it's a huge help, and you wouldn't think it's that big of a deal. We're taking feed or whatever out to kind of train them to go into the working facility. We worked them yesterday. And Trice the other day, I'm like, the Ranger was down, battery wasn't working, and a lot of people are going to be like, you let your 8-year-old drive your truck. So I've got the farm truck, which is a little bit bigger, and then I've got just a little Canyon, GMC Canyon to kind of run around, and so we're in that, and I hop out of the truck, and, there's this giant mud, mud hole to get through the fence, and so I'm like, I don't want to walk back in and out and whatever, and so I'm like, all right, Trice, I said, you know how to drive the Ranger? I said, this is how you're going to drive the truck, it's the same thing, like, and he looks at me like, you're going to let me drive the truck. Yep, come on. So he drives it through the mud hole, does a good job, and so I'm going to get back in. He's like, can I keep driving? And we're out in a 50-acre field. So I'm like, yeah, absolutely, man. And he does a really good job with the Ranger. And so, dude, you would have thought I told that kid like he was a man that day. And just to see the confidence, like he needs purpose, right? We all need purpose. We need something, men and women, right? You need a purpose or else we're lost. And so I can see that just in him, you know, if he doesn't have something to do that day, or like something that he feels like he's accomplishing that day, man, he's hard to deal with. And Hillary just, you know, guys are different. She didn't grow up with boys. She grew up with a sister and a mom. Like it's hard for her to kind of connect that. But I'm like, if we give him some purpose, man, it changes the dynamic of just how he acts in that day. And so you just extrapolate that over to a man, or, you know, like in society is always telling us all these things that we are as a man. And you're like, no, like look back at what the ultimate test and the ultimate, like Jesus was the ultimate man. And so I just think, man, there's so many parallels.
We got to run them. You know, my son, if we don't run, so we work out in the mornings most days, and he just shows up better. Yeah. And I know when I work out in the morning, I show up better. That's it. Yep. And I'm less irritable. I'm more focused. And men also need purpose. And I feel like that's one of the things that I've seen too, is like, I just want to help contribute to that for men. You know, a guy said something to me the other day that I thought was really powerful. He's like, hey, Jason, I just want to let you know that in the last 8 months, I've made more friends than I have in the last 18 years. Mm-hmm. And it was really meaningful to me, because a lot of men, they self-isolate, especially when they're going through things. And all of us go through things. And we do a terrible job as men of connecting. Terrible job. Like ask, you guys might be different, but if a guy's listening to this, I'd ask them this simple question. If you ask most women, when's the last time you went out with a friend for breakfast, lunch, or dinner without any business intention? They'd probably say, honestly, within the last week or two. Like a group of girls got together, or them and the girlfriend went to lunch.
Yeah.
If you ask that same question to a guy, almost never.
We go work out. But
we go work out.
But we're different.
But no, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
We want to have a purpose. We want to have something. So when I call a friend and I say, hey, do you want to go for lunch? It's like, like, what are we doing? Like, but if I say,
you want to go hunt?
If I say, hey, you want to go do something, right? You want to go, you want to go work
a game or whatever.
Whatever. It's like, yeah, hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
But if I'm like,
go to lunch? No.
Right?
I don't.
And so what we've done through the men's club is, the way we do it is a 45-minute workout, and it's not even about the workout. They're always AMRAPs and EMOMs, so everybody does it together. And then afterwards, go grab coffee. And you'd be shocked at what's happening at the coffee shop, but it's disguised as like, it's a workout, disguised. And then all of a sudden, it's like, dude, we're not therapists, we're not whatever, but guess what? You get a group of guys together who are good dudes who want to wake up at 6 a.m. on a Saturday to work out. Special stuff happens. So I'm very passionate about this, and I think for our youth too, we gotta just try and lead our young men in the best direction possible. And I'm blessed that my son is surrounded by some incredible coaches, and we need to expose them to adversity. You know, they're going to get hit with it later on in life, and they need to learn how to do that at a young age, boys and girls.
Yep, 100%. I'll tie it together by just saying, you know, Austin speaking about purpose, speaking about you know, what you're built to do, and then our shared history. We didn't force you to come here. You weren't forced out of CrossFit. You kind of chose to come here with a mission. Yeah. And it kind of leads to the greater story as well. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's.
He told this story the other day, and you may or may not have heard it, but I thought it was interesting when he was like, why he's here. Yeah.
It's been a pretty we talk about reflection. We talk about our journey and things of that nature. And really over the last, year or so, I spent a lot of time introspection of like, what am I doing? Where am I going? I spent a lot of time at CrossFit and for me personally, professionally, and timing's a unique thing in life, right? Where, really over the last year and a half, I knew I was transitioning, but I didn't know to where I didn't know what my next step was. And, I've known Rich obviously for, feels like
basically we've all known each other the same amount of time.
Yeah. Like 15 plus years.
At least 15 years. Yeah.
And Rich had reached out and was like, hey, why don't you come here? And, we really want to focus on our gyms and our affiliates. And we really want to lean into this thing. And I mean, it was out of the blue. Like it was one of those things where, like for me personally, I know you guys been working on some stuff and I was like, it's like almost, it's not even a coincidence. Like it was like serendipitous timing for me emotionally. And where I've always been personally drawn to helping people, serving specifically from the perspective of gyms, right? That's obviously what I did at CrossFit. I had 4 gyms in the past. And when he said that to me, I remember talking to my wife and I said, man, I did not see this coming. Like I was like, but I think this makes sense. And it was, I knew as soon as he asked me, like it was one of those things like in hindsight, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to do this, but you also know this deep down's like, I'm doing this. Yeah. Like, you know, like it's sort of like you have this sort of two layers, and at what layer do you accept that sort of foundational belief? And it happened relatively quick, but you know, for me, the ability to be around a group of people, and you know, I've been here, but I'd never been here with the sense of, do I want to be here, right? And just that sense of belonging, that sense of care, but also the sense of shared common purpose. And that's something that I feel here that is, you know, made me to make some pretty big decisions in my life and to be here and with my family. And it's the goal to help people, and to help people from, you know, specifically what Rich asked me to come here to do was from hey, how do we help all of our gyms? We have a lot of gyms. We have a huge community around the world. How do we go all in? I think that was your quote. I want to go all in on gyms. And I said, well, candidly, I've been trying to do that for a really long time. Right. And, you know, if that's what you want to do, that's exactly what I want to do. Let's do the damn thing. And that's something that just for the last couple of months, I don't think I've worked harder, but I don't think I've had more fun. And I don't think I've also felt more at ease.
Well, you could also get things done. You've done a lot of things since you came on.
Yeah. And also, like, you know, just emotionally, you know, I think, you know, and I don't often share this, but there was times where like I would just, my anxiety of not, like, I really like to get things done and do things. There was a time, you know, really maybe the last year or so, where I would just sit in my sauna, you know, after I worked out in my little morning routine, and just not really be sure what I was doing, even though I knew what I was doing. And that was really hard. Like, you know, just the stress, like little things like that I would notice in my body. And then, you know, for the last couple of months, all of that's gone, but I would say I'm working harder and having a blast. Yeah. And, you know, that to me, and when we talk about purpose, shared common purpose, being around like-minded individuals, I think it's something that is often forgotten. And I also do think that having people in your life that can pull you up, whether it's, you know, and whether Rich knows it or not, like him asking me that question was a really big moment for me. And then, you know, being able to, you know, I guess a crass way to put it, get shit done and it's been a blast, obviously, the last couple months leading up to really why you're here. You know, and I mean, you reached out too. Like, this is what's crazy. So like, this is
the timing on it's pretty nuts.
The timing is nuts. Where, you know, we announce, right, and hey, I'm here at Mayhem, and, you know, it was somewhat like, hey, like, Austin's here to support the gyms, but at no point do we ever like put a bulleted list out of what we want to do. Yep. And I get a call from Jason, you know, and I listen, like, Jason, you know, we've communicated many times and a lot consistently over
especially because of the affiliate council.
That's right.
Other stuff like that. And
you kind of you hit up and you're like, hey, I'm thinking about making a pivot. And I mean, you know, and I'll let you explain that a little deeper, but, you know, you kind of talk about how you want to make this pivot. You talk about what you're doing with Train Hard, and you said, hey, like, what you want to do at Mayhem, why you're there supporting gyms. I think we can actually do something really special and really unique, and almost have this shared purpose and allow you to do what you really want to do and go all in, and allow us to go even further all in on our gyms. And I remember, I was, you know, I think I called Rich. I was like, hey, like, Jason just called, and I think we can do something here that's really cool. And I mean, it was all within a matter of a month.
Yeah, if that.
Right? Because what happened for me on my side is that I saw that you came on to Mayhem. And I've always had a good relationship with all of you guys, right? It's always been good.
Yep.
And I've worked a lot with Austin, mainly on like the affiliate council type side.
Yeah, but competition, seminars, Reebok, when you were with Reebok, you were there a bunch. So like, we've all been intertwined in different ways.
For years. Right? This isn't like new.
No.
And so when I saw that he moved from CrossFit to Mayhem, first off, I called him to legitimately congratulate him. Like, hey man, I know like how talented you are, and I know that this is going to be great for you. So first off, let me start off by saying that. Secondly, I couldn't help but notice that when he came over to Mayhem, I was sitting there, I was like reflecting. I was like, dude, Rich and the team must be even more invested in supporting gym owners. Otherwise, they wouldn't have brought Austin on. That's like in the back of my mind. And I'm like, Well, they're really interested in supporting gym owners. That's something I have been very passionate about for a long, long time. But I felt pulled. It's been difficult the last, like I'd say, a year or two, because on the one hand, I feel very drawn to this mission of helping men that I've shared with you guys. On the other hand, for many, many years, I've owned gyms. I've supported gym owners. Like that's been like part of my identity for forever. But I felt very pulled. Like, dude, I can't be great over here and I can't be great over here because I'm trying to do too many things, right? Yeah. So when I saw that he was coming to Mayhem, I was like, dude, this could be a great opportunity where we collaborate to partner up and say, okay, Mayhem is trying to support gym owners and coaches. I'm all about that. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to support these men over here. Okay, well, why don't we just work with Mayhem and let them rock and roll, and I'll be a kind of like a supporter, and let me kind of be over here doing this thing. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of all. Like, when I saw that you guys brought on Austin, I just knew, I was like, dude, these are the guys that are going to really go out there and make an impact on gym owners, and I want to be a part of it. How do we partner up and make this happen?
Yeah, I mean, even the backstory, I don't even know if I've ever kind of said the backstory with the way that the Mayhem affiliate stuff started. Its programming was started with programming, and Darren moved back to Michigan with the intent of opening a gym, being closer to his wife's family and our family as well. And so right when he got back there, COVID hit. And so Michigan was way different than Tennessee in the way that they handled some of the COVID stuff. Here was basically like 2 or 3 weeks, and then it was open. In Michigan, man, for a year or two, so the plan was like they were going to try to open a Mayhem North or whatever, and in the process, they couldn't, so he kind of needed a job, so we just started doing programming, and it grew under Lockhart and just Mayhem Athlete, and it's done really well, and Darren and Christy have done a really good job with that, and it just got to the point where, all right, hey, we feel like we need to offer a little bit more support to our gyms and our affiliates from, partnering with
a little bit more always, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you always
want a lot of it more.
Keep, and so, we keep doing these partnerships. And so in that process, I was like, man, we need somebody like Austin to come in and really dig in. And that's how that, I don't know if I've ever actually said why we did that, but that's, Darren and Chrissy are incredible at what they do, but having Austin to run that instead of having Lockhart, doing the individual and doing gyms, and Jake's, he worked at Mayhem early on and coached a ton, but now he's so hyper-focused on the individual that we needed somebody to run the gym side of it, and who better to do that than Austin?
And this is more of a statement than a question, but yeah, you guys were talking about like, well, the backgrounds that have been overlapping and whatnot. I think that, and I'll include myself in it, like we've cut from the same cloth in the sense that like there are people, and there's no judgment here, but a lot of people have kind of dipped in and dipped out. CrossFit was part of their thing, but like I think it's really unique, especially for you three, who were on the competition floor as heroes, but also chose on the back end to support gyms, seminar staff, and like really dipping in and building communities of your own, right? Like at the ground level, literally running affiliates, but then also extending that digitally to support athletes and whatever. So I think that's why it's a very powerful combination of people for me. Like really fires me up. It's a very natural fit for people who are actually shown passion for that for a very long period of time.
Yeah, and just to kind of add some more context on like the way I see this working is like when I first started the gym, I went, we opened multiple locations, and I came from, my background before CrossFit was different because I learned from a guy who like was very business focused, and we would ride the elliptical at night, and he would teach me about the business side of fitness. And
you ride the elliptical, or do you run on the elliptical? Like, what do you, I don't even
actually
know the proper term with the elliptical.
You do it.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
Execute.
Move on the elliptical.
There you go.
And we would talk business. And so I came in, when I first got into CrossFit, I was like, okay, how do we turn this into like a business? Like I want to be able to provide for my family. I want to be able to help give coaches jobs. I want to be able to grow this thing. And so we opened up many locations. And at the time I was like, well, how do we keep consistency across all these locations? And because at the time we were opening locations with Western Digital. Mm-hmm. And so we were in Asia, we were in Mexico, and we had like 30 locations. I remember saying to myself, dude, we gotta streamline this. We can't just send out a workout. We gotta create some systems and procedures and whatnot. So we created what we call the NC Fit Collective for us. Like I originally started it for us to say, hey, this is how we're going to do the warm up. This is how we're going to do the workout. This is how we're going to do this. And then eventually I'm like, well, if we're doing all this for ourselves, why don't we just sell it to other gym owners and take that off their plate? Because at the time, this is like years ago, everybody was just reinventing the wheel every day. It's like, dude, a gym owner could be better suited working on marketing, working on sales. So we created the NC Fit Collective. This is like, I don't even know what year this was, 2017, whatever it was, 2016. It was like 9 years ago.
It was early, yeah.
It was early. and we started getting a lot of gyms involved, and that's been a system we've had for years now. And then watching the way that Mayhem did something very, very similar. And so I started by saying to myself, like, okay, well, if we have these session plans programming over here, you guys have these session plans programming over here, how do we come together?
Make it better for both.
Exactly.
Help gym owners. I mean, that's the problem. Austin has a lot of the stats and from being on the inside of what like gym owners make, how much they're struggling. So the big deal is like, how do we help gym owners and how do we help the coaches and then how do they help each other? There needs to be more cohesion there and more help. Like gym owners need help.
So yeah, let's see if we can elegantly personify what we're saying. We're officially saying that we're welcoming the NC Fit family into the Mayhem family with the help, support, infrastructure that Jason has created. And Jason's not going anywhere, just so we're clear on that. Jason's here, part of the crew, helping us out.
California,
well, he's going back to California.
I don't know, man. This weather is so beautiful out here right now.
Out here right now.
And I think I know the spirit of this is that as longtime affiliate owners and people who have been in the space forever, there's a vision of all the resources we wish we had once upon a time. Man, I was flowing, British? And you just typical Rich Froning. In the comments, please tell Rich about stepping on people.
Quit cutting
yes, I did say resources, and I'll say it again now just to rub it in.
Whilst
people always they give me a hard time for the way I say bin. Also, I say bean. My father's British. Anyhow, the resources that we wish that we had along the way, and then a vision of there's no limit to what that could be. Right? Is that fair to say? I mean,
yeah, I think that's well put in the sense of at the heart of this, it's exactly what Rich said in the sense of, how do we make it easier for our gym owners, the coaches, and the members to get better, to improve, to be able, and also to make it more streamlined. Mm-hmm. It is harder than ever to run a business now. We all know this in the fitness space, and certainly within the CrossFit space, there's a lot of noise.
Crowded.
So how do we bring really amazing groups of people together to make it easier for them, more efficient, and when it's all said and done, the purpose is simple. If we have people walking in the gym and they have a great experience, the member, that's what we want. Mm-hmm. Now, really what we're talking about is making an impact with people, right? And in different avenues. And there more people than ever need to be walking in our gyms. How do we make sure that experience is phenomenal? And how do we make sure that the owners and the coaches have a good living, they're running a good business, there's opportunity for them. And it's not talked about enough on how to do that. I mean, you were touching on it. Hey, there are certain things that you don't have to do all the time so you can focus on other things. Within the CrossFit space for years, it kind of goes two ways. Do whatever you want. We're never going to tell you what to do, right? This sort of, hey, let the hands off.
Yep.
But I'm of the ilk, and I think we all can agree. It's like if someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, this really you should this can really help you." Like if someone offered me that in 2010 or 2011 when I was like, I'd be like, yes, please. Yeah. I really would take all the help I could get. And how do we make that a little more streamlined and with what you've built,
more accessible as well?
Yeah, and with what you've built at NC Fit with the collective, and with what we've built at Mayhem, it just makes sense to be able to bring those together to support the community because people want to be together as well.
Yeah,
and fighting everybody.
Well, I think that's one of the things we've seen over the years, right? Is like I think coming together is only going to be helpful. I hope the affiliate community looks at this and like, dude, that's cool. It's cool because you need multiple minds to come together to say, hey, how do we come together and serve, like back to the mission? Like, how do we support gym owners and coaches as much as possible? And I think coming together, we'll have better collaborative discussions on how to do that.
Different perspectives, right?
Different perspectives. And yeah, like your guys' perspective is going to be different than mine. I think that's going to be a healthy thing. And also just like time, attention, and focus. I want to pride myself on being a guy where like whatever we do, I want to try and really be the best. Mm-hmm. And if I feel like we are not putting in the time and attention to improve every single day, then let's work with people who are.
Yeah.
And because that doesn't feel good if you're not. I want to look at someone that's utilizing our programs, our plans, and be like, dude, on a regular basis, I'm personally trying to support this. We have a team that does an excellent job, has crushed it. But now this is our time to like even elevate that even more with other people that are on that same journey that we could all come into and collaborate on. So I'm super excited about this. I think for the gym owners and the coaches and for the community, I think this is going to be nothing but a value add. And they're going to see that through the product and through like what's going to happen over the next X amount of years.
It's almost, and I feel like a broken record about this, but when we all started, we started this conversation about reminiscing. We were all brought together, and the entire fitness community, for the most part, really came together. Yeah. Right? I mean, think about when we first dove in, at CrossFit.com, you had subject matter experts, you had all these people. I was exposed to more people through one conduit.
Yep.
And over the years, that has changed a lot.
It's
become super fragmented, super sort of like siloed. And, I think about if I'm coming in the ecosystem now, where does someone go to learn, to understand? Like, honestly, it's not good. And something like this is sort of it's really important to us at Mayhem. How do we get the best and the brightest together? And this collaboration is really one of the first steps of that, but it's almost like going back. Like, hey, like we don't need to be on different playing fields. We're on the same playing field. So when someone enters in the ecosystem, they get access to way more than just one person, one group, one camp, one point of view, because differing points of view are important. In fact, that's what CrossFit was built on. The contrarian mindset, a differing point of view. This is put your feet here, put your feet there, put your hands here, put your hands out here on the bar. And then we were able to make the decision, what do we like? But that's something that we are really committed to is not only this, but going forward. How do we bring more people?
Communication.
Yeah. And can then communicate that out, make it easier for owners and coaches to learn, to listen, to grow, to be challenged, and to challenge us as well.
Because what's always missed, in my opinion, is like this one size fits all. Like, hey, we're this organization, we're going to do it exactly this, and it's going to work out perfectly. Obviously, what works in Cookeville doesn't work in the Silicon Valley, right? That's at the local level. But I think the same is true of the world. And that's why, pooling more resources allows people to take what we've always done. Take what works, leave what doesn't, but you're still going to walk away with something better. I'd be really interested actually on the thought that you were saying, hey, in the early days, I didn't have this stuff. But what's a good example of somebody where in your early career, either as a coach or as an affiliate owner, you were given some feedback that translated well, right? Because I think that kind of draws out what we're doing in the bigger picture.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll say this. I had never received feedback ever until I went to my first level 1 as an intern.
Yeah.
Never. I coached at a gym for a year and a half without just thinking, I'm the shit, like this is great. My members love me and blah, 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 blah.
Is the worst experience ever.
But the best for me also in the sense that I was like,
so nerve-wracking.
I got filmed on my first time doing the level 2. Do you remember? I don't know.
Yeah.
You were already in the spotlight though. Yes.
Oh yeah, but they basically threw that tape away. They're like, hey, this guy.
Yeah, I remember
this
that.
level 2 did not go well.
They just filmed me working out at my level. They didn't even do the other stuff.
And so I want to touch on that, but a little known fact here is that, obviously, people still might forget you were on seminar staff. Yeah. Rich was on seminar staff. Rory on seminar staff. I'm on seminar staff. So like when you think about it, and that shouldn't be lost on anyone where, that's really impressive. And then affiliate owners, coaches, and I think that's the point. I think we all, it's easy for us to take for granted because we kind of grew up in that ilk. And you said is that, that internship, what does that look like? Feedback. And I think that if you were to say, hey, what is the biggest area of weakness within our community? It's the inability and it's not inability, maybe you just don't know, to put yourself in an environment to get feedback.
Yeah.
Right?
You get in your own echo chamber.
That's right. And that when we started, we didn't have a choice. When we interned on staff, we got destroyed.
Gosh.
Right? Like and that's an extreme, but it really opened up and then from there, weekend after weekend, whatever it might be, you go through the opportunity to, okay, this is what you did good, but in fact, that's what I expected. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to talk about any of the good stuff.
You hit baseline.
Because that's a baseline
yeah.
At this level. Here are the things that you need to get better at. And we continually pursued that. That is something that is I think imperative to our owners and coaches because, you should always be seeking out that stone that you haven't turned over. How do I get
You don't know
better?
what you don't know, right?
That's right.
Like we do these things to coach like a pros.
Yep.
And we would ask coaches on these things like, hey, when's the last time you were reviewed? And it's like, well, I've never received feedback on my classes. Well, if you've never received feedback on your classes, you don't know what you're thriving in, what you could improve on. So that culture of feedback, I do feel like CrossFit HQ, and this is something I think that our generation came up in, which was, dude, we were athletes, but if you look at all the top athletes from 2000 whatever,
yeah,
they were all affiliate owners or on seminar staff or coaches, all of them.
That's right.
I think a lot of the athletes nowadays, I don't know how many of them actually coach classes. I have no idea.
It's a different,
it's a different
game, for sure,
breed. But back then, early in CrossFit, I feel like
that connection.
This culture of feedback was very common because we were all trying to we were all on this mission to improve. And I don't know when that kind of, that was just that was very built into the DNA, I think. Back then.
I do think at times we belabor the whole, athletes aren't owners and whatever, but for a while we called for them to be professionals, and a lot of them are now.
It's true.
And that's
right.
okay,
yeah.
But it was just what you can say is it was a different time.
That's right.
Right? And there was a different connection. There was a different, we were, not to say the athletes aren't pushing the methodology forward, but it just, that was the time where you saw the most growth, right?
Yeah.
It was because of that. And not to say it's just different. We're just in a different time.
Yep.
And I think that to put that on there, I think, well, what's the evolution of the time where we are now from where it was? You can't go back in time.
Nope.
But what can you do? And I think that, with the professionalization of the sport, you look at other sports, is that there are individuals within a sport that invest heavily into their respective sport and communities, and others that might not.
Yeah, or just walk away.
Exactly. And I think that, and you've said this before, and I know you've said it as well, where we don't exist without the gyms, the coaches, and the members.
100%.
Because we don't have a global fan base of billions, right?
Nope. We're niche.
Niche. That's
Yeah.
right. Nice.
Look at you.
So with that, I think it's really important to understand that we are here. The sport is here, and it rests on the back and shoulders of our affiliate owners, coaches, and their members.
Well, and I think it gets lost at times. What's so cool about CrossFit is the members can feel what the athletes are feeling on the field, almost identically. Obviously, it's a little bit different, but you can do some of the workouts that you see the athletes do, or in the open. That's why the open is special. As much as I hated it as an athlete, you could see, oh, hey, I did the open workout and so did it, and holy crap, they beat me by X, or whatever, or I beat so and so. Man, there's just such that cool connection, and I think each of us here still, why it means so much to us, because we all still work out. We were talking before. I am better when I do something every day, and it's going to be some form of CrossFit. It may be a little bit different depending on, but I'd also argue that it's not truly CrossFit unless you're doing it with one other person, you obviously you can do CrossFit by yourself, but you really aren't. It's that shared suffering. It's that back and forth. It's that working out with other people that is not in the methodology, but it's like an unwritten rule of the methodology.
And that's what I think pushed the sport.
Yeah.
Do I remember the open announcements with you, and I want to say it was Dan back at Tennessee Tech.
Oh yeah.
Dude, some
and
of those
Easy and Darren and
some of those were my favorite to watch, just because you guys were throwing down together. And we were talking about this too back at your gym. And, I get questions. I used to get them a lot more now, obviously, than I do today. But it's like, hey, how do you become successful as a CrossFit Games competitor? And it's like, dude, you gotta fall in love with the process. You gotta enjoy your training.
You gotta love it.
If you don't enjoy that process of training, the fame and the money is not going to come quick, if ever. So you have to find something that draws you to it. And for me, it was my midday sessions with the crew, the energy, the camaraderie. And I think that this idea, you have your very individual program, you're putting in your headphones, it's just exhausting. And that's just my perspective on it, right?
100%. And that's the hard part, is we obviously are huge in the gym side, but we also have, the performance coaching, and those guys do an incredible job, and they nerd out on that stuff and they love it. And I think there is a huge piece of that athletes need. But there is such a huge, also, I would say, equal component to suffering together and training with people, man. It is not sustainable to do exactly what you said, and it's not productive. I can get my paces and whatever, but what happens when that gets hard? Or what happens when so-and-so is going harder than you and you have to hold their pace? Or, man, it's just, I'm such a proponent, or was such a proponent when I competed. Luckily I had the knowledge base of the understanding of the methodology and exercise science background and all that. But man, training with people in the morning, training with a completely different crew that was not competitive whatsoever. Shout out 3 o'clockers that used to train. My goal then was, man, I still had people in there. I was trying to lap them 3 times, or catch them or whatever. But man, there was still a huge benefit to them being in there, because they never questioned anything. They knew how to all right, you're doing this weight, I'm doing X. It was usually 5 pounds more than whatever the girls were doing, so they could at least say that. But you know, there was just that shared suffering and that bond. And guess what? Those guys were my biggest fans and supporters at the games, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, that's what was so awesome about the early days. And not to say, like, you know, we can't go back, like you're saying, but, man, there's just something special about that time that is hard to, like, put into words, I guess, you know?
And again, like, how do we, you know, we take some of these gold threads.
Oh, gold threads.
Gold threads, you know.
Different from the red thread.
That's right.
Common red thread.
Well, yeah, just
Austin, like,
when he first showed up,
he used to use red threads a lot.
Oh, there's a red thread.
Like you know, it weaves between the tapestry, right?
We lovingly counted how many times he said it during a meeting. We're like,
no way.
And so we're reading a book, The American Story.
Great book.
And the guy says gold threads.
Oh.
And so it was.
So adopting it, adopting it.
Well, the gold thread, I think that I'm hearing is
shared suffering and
training hard, energy. But that's what I think the gym owners and coaches need to be focused on is like goal
Working
number one.
together.
Are your members coming in and having a great experience? Are they having fun? Are they looking forward to coming back? Because one of the things I think we got wrapped up in, I think as an industry, is like coaching is very important and technical capacity is critical. And if your members aren't enjoying that experience, they're not going to be coming back.
Who cares what your VO2 max is if you don't have, like, you got to have some fun.
You got to have some fun. And because otherwise you're never going to have the consistency to ever see the results these people want in the first place.
That's right.
Right? Like they can have one great, I'm going to, drive my knees out, whatever. But if they're not enjoying the culture, the energy, and that's what I think we could impart on more gym owners is like, for me, when a member comes in, they have 3 goals, right? I want them to have a great time, number 1. Number 2, of course, getting a good workout. And ideally, as well, learn something new, even something basic. But if they could do those 3 things as a coach, dude, the gym is going to thrive. The environment's going to be positive. It's going to be awesome.
Well, and that's exact. Like when we think about when you sharing what you've learned is, and all of those things are what we basically were trying to do throughout our entire career of training individuals. But the key of that is, it's hard to have fun when you do it alone, when you don't have a purpose. And there are people, every day is different, which means there are some days you don't want to do it. But if someone's like, hey, let's do this, you get pulled.
Fitness peer pressure.
And there's a huge value to that. I mean, you look at all the literature about consistency and routines and all that. It's like, have a buddy.
Have a buddy.
Right? Like have a buddy, have a friend, have an accountability partner, whatever that looks like. And that's exact. And I think that we're applying that at the gym level, it's not easy by any means because it's like, how do you do that across a membership base? But the number one thing that I've seen at the gym level, what you struggle with that is you only have a limited amount of resources that an owner or a coach can invest in the gym and in that class. Where do you want to spend that time? And I believe that the most important energy should be spent on human interactions.
Yeah.
Right? And that emotional awareness and intelligence. And I have a class of 15 people. Like I have to learn about you really quickly and understand where you're at to check in with you to have a great experience, which means all of the technical stuff, all of that nerdy stuff that sometimes we can take for granted, you have to almost be so good that you can take it for granted, that you can be fully invested. That's really hard to do. And those are things that aren't easily talked about. When you look at how you trained, Rich, and how you trained, things that are not talked about too much, but I saw it firsthand working alongside you guys, you guys are very smart about training. The exercise science, the exercise physiology, the nerdy stuff, that came natural. Movement, your movement was okay. It got a lot better over time. But again, we all understood quality of movement.
Yeah,
super important.
I understood it, just didn't always happen.
The follow through.
But then from there, it allowed you to actually focus on other things, to question, to experiment, to tweak. And that's the coach's job. And that's not an easy nut to crack from like, hey, how do we support and help that journey? But, that's something that...
When we give them the tools, right? Like, I think I'm most excited about this partnership is diving deeper to help provide the tools to a gym owner so that they could actually... Like, my thing is, if we go and we're trying to go run a class, but we're thinking about what we're doing the next step, or we're thinking so much about whatever, we can't allow our natural personality to thrive, right? But if you're so comfortable with the content, you've reviewed your plan, you understand what's going on, you just show up and it allows your personality to thrive and allows that personal connection to engage. Otherwise, you're just so worried about what your next warm-up step is that you can't allow your personality to shine. Yeah. So how do we give that to more gym owners? How do we support the coaches? And I don't know, man. I feel like, especially showing up here in Tennessee, The weather just happened to be like perfect for me. I show up in the gym. Obviously, we were reconnecting. I'm just like, man, this feels right. This feels good. This feels like we're really going to make a very purpose-filled like impact on a lot of different people, which makes me feel good that like we're doing good stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And we're doing it together.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, together's better always.
I'll introduce another what I think is a golden thread, and you can take it or leave it. We can scrap it later.
You said resource a second ago.
Resources.
No, you said resource, and then a second ago you said resource. It's like you
because you beat me up about it.
Sorry.
No, it's because you're bullying me.
We talk feedback.
It's a feedback loop over here. Yeah,
Live,
exactly.
in real time.
Great feedback. Another golden thread is that what we're not saying is that this is in spite of CrossFit. We're all saying that we have a deep history.
What do you mean? That's what everything we do is.
Right,
everything is in spite.
I'm just going to allow everybody to not read between the lines.
It's so funny that you just said that.
Yeah.
I would have never have drawn to that. Like, honestly, like
I know that you wouldn't, and you probably don't digest content that would, but for the sake of saying it though, like we come from CrossFit, you're CrossFit Games champions. We all use the CrossFit methodology, and that's not what we're announcing today. And
Nope.
I hate
the fact
I
that you
hate
have
the
to
need.
say this
I agree, and I hate the need to.
because I would never have drawn that parallel. Like, wait, hang on. We have these two organizations that have been doing very similar things for almost 20 years, and we're coming together to try and do it better for gym owners.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Like, I don't see how there's any conflict there with CrossFit.
Well, you know that I'm more sensitive.
We're consolidating power, man. Consolidating the market.
You know that. Hold on. You know, before, you know that I'm the most sensitive man on the panel here, and no, it's like for me, I always feel like I got to lead with like the 8 Mile thing, you know, where I've got to be like, yeah, my dude did shoot himself in the junk, and I do come from a trailer. Like I just put it all out there, so you just can't use it later.
That's such a good.
It's a B-rabbit. That's yeah.
Yeah, this is Bunny Rabbit right here. Yeah, we actually had a sit down at Everyday Hero. We had a great meeting with Dom Fall. I thought it was really cool
for an hour and a half.
Yep, and
he came out and helped put up tree stands. We put up some tree stands and some cameras. Him and Watkins out in the Ranger.
Yep, and their team knows about.
He got to use this for his meeting backdrop, like you know.
And their team heard about this and have been briefed, and they think it's a great idea. And so I'm just putting it out there. You're right. I hate the need to, but I'd rather just say it than see Instagram reels and speculation and whatnot on the back end.
This will still get Instagram reeled and speculated.
That's fine, but
we might get a text.
But I've done as my best Bunny Rabbit, and you know, so the reels we'll take the wind out of the sails.
Scott's gonna clip this up, so it's clickbait.
Yeah. Don't worry. Yeah.
That's unfortunate, you know, and it's unfortunate that I think that as OG CrossFit, new CrossFit, this CrossFit, I think that the divide is just not a good thing, man. And I get that it gets clicks, and that's really unfortunate with where. That's one of the reasons why I'm so drawn to just doing stuff in person. Because, dude, 99% of the time we'll agree on most things most of the time. But the internet has a weird way of making you feel like you guys, like we hate each other.
Yeah.
And it's very unfortunate because negativity gets clicks. And I hope that, you know, as we mature, like we realize like that's not good for anybody.
Yeah. Well, and it's universal, I think, these days. Like
of course.
people forgot how to disagree well, if that makes sense.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you're saying, we probably agree on 99% of things, but people divide so much on 1% of things.
And it's okay. Like leading up to this election.
Jesus earlier, people are going to probably freak out about that. Somebody's going to immediately write the whole thing off, all the rest of the positivity because you said one thing.
That's right. And even like,
and I swore the last time wearing Jesus shirt, and everybody lost their mind. You know.
Yeah. Well, I submitted my resignation as well.
Okay.
Dude,
even the last, but even we go down rabbit holes. But like even this last political cycle, like we had great conversations, and it was you know,
but the
wide
fact that
ranging.
We had a conversation.
But the fact that we had a conversation is great.
Took a political stance, man.
Yeah.
You can't take
people.
A stance.
There's no new like. There's no what's the word I'm looking for? Like the
red thread, golden thread.
That's it. Now you got it. You got the bug.
The golden thread here, right? Is we've lost like perspective on like what the person was like trying to mean. Like there's just, anyways.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, you're right. Anyways, right? Just take that for what it's worth. But we were talking about what fires you up, and that's how I'd rather end is to be like, I think there's a really bright future, right? Like it's not to put our heads in the sand, like CrossFit and this whole community has gone through like a lot of shitty years, and everybody with COVID, and it's been an interesting time to be alive. But I really feel like I got a black shirt on.
I'm really hoping like people are just like, hell yeah.
Yeah. But
like,
I'm saying beyond like what people are thinking, like for you personally, and what I was going to say is I feel a really cool rebound, right? Like Everyday Hero was radical. We've got this will be, this information will be released as our December 6th weekend's going on.
That's right.
Around that time.
Right.
And there's a lot of cool momentum building, and I don't know. It's for me. I'm always an optimist, but I've authentically felt a lot better about where we are and what we're doing and what the future looks like than for the last couple of years. It's been kind of muddy for me,
dude. And just like I would encourage people, like if you've been in the fitness space for 20 years or 10 years or whatever, like it's okay to make pivots and shifts and listen to where you're feeling drawn to.
You can do that in life, not just fitness.
You can do that everywhere.
You learn new information and have a different perspective on something is okay.
It's okay. Like, and I, from a training perspective,
I thought you hated CrossFit and you de-affiliated all your gyms and you hate CrossFit. That's what I heard on the internet.
Yeah. Well, then imagine that we re-affiliated and we had. It's funny how like, and also people don't see the full.
Nobody knows.
They don't know the full backstory.
Used to say on Instagram, nobody knows. And we're privy to information that others on the outside feel like they're privy to that they're not. That we make different decisions based on what we know is true. It's
There's been a lot of
you can read between the lines.
There's been a lot of information over the years that people just don't see the full picture all the time. And that's okay because that's their vantage point and they reserve the right to have their perspective on things.
Agreed.
But then we have our own, right? And we've seen a lot of different things.
And I just think to look ourselves in the mirror when we say these things, right? And know that, hey, I made the right decision for what I believe or what I stand for. And that's okay.
Yeah. And I think that all you could do is make the best decision you can at the time with the information you have. And you could look back and you can say, man, I wish I'd done something a little bit different. But that's hindsight's always 20/20, right? Like,
I've not handled a lot of situations correctly, and I'm man enough to say that, like, and to the people that I've, done that wrongly, I try to do a good job of saying sorry about it. Yeah. There's some that I don't think I did it wrong, but there's that too.
Yeah.
So
for me, this feels right. I feel very drawn to the mission that I'm supporting on the Train Hard side, and I feel like if I could play a role here as a partner with you guys, as you guys pursue this heavily, and I could kind of come in and support there while simultaneously feeling like I'm on this mission over at Train Hard.
Let's do a Train Hard event at Mayhem,
dude,
or at the barn. We'll do that 24-hour ruck. We're gonna do a two-man 24-hour ruck.
2-man 24-hour ruck. I mean,
rotating.
If I should show you guys some of these videos. It's cool. I want to see this take off. I want more groups just meet up in parking lots and guys just throwing down. And I don't know where it's going to go, but it's exciting for me. And I think this is all exciting for me. And it's also exciting just being here in the same room with Rich and reminiscing on some of these things, and with both you guys too. Like the content we've created over the years, the open announcements, the
Iron Triathlon. No, we didn't do the Iron Triathlon in your garage. We did just the Iron Marathon, 225. After was it It
was before, dude.
No, it was after.
Dude.
It was after the.
No, Dan Bailey and I did the Iron Triathlon.
You did the Iron Triathlon after. Was it the Santa Cruz event?
Workout.
You and I, we
did the bench in your garage.
Yeah, but was it before or after?
It was definitely after. It was like
we did 225.
Like 11 o'clock at night.
It was like 20 to 1 or something like that.
I think one to 20, right?
225 bench.
Who?
It was Linda.
No. Previous to this, it was who was the bodybuilder? He ended up having a heart transplant and then passed.
CT
CT Fletcher.
CT Fletcher's still alive.
Oh, he's still alive? Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
He's still alive. Yeah. He had a heart transplant.
Scared me.
CT Fletcher, because you did the video with him.
Yeah.
Well, then we did 225 bench, and it was just 1 to 20, like 1, 1, 2, 2. And I remember you going unbroken through like 10.
Yep.
And I smartly started breaking. And then all of a sudden,
Classic.
Jason, we'd be, I'd go off and like go get a drink or something out here. And then just like I'd have to go over and save him, and so I think it took us like I think we did it sub-hour.
Dude, it took a long ass time back and forth. I remember when we said like, hey bro, you want to hit some bench? Like, let's hit some bench, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, hey, you want to just go like 1 to 20, like 225? But that sounds good, you know what I'm saying?
2 hours later, an hour later. But the girls are like coming in and out.
Yeah, but it's the way you say like, that sounds pretty good.
Just so you know, that still happens.
It does still happen.
Yeah, like Rich's like, you want to do this? I'm like, yeah. You know.
It happened both nights of Everyday Hero this weekend.
Yep.
To reward the volunteers and the judges, I was like, hey guys, we're gonna do a workout after.
Reward.
Yeah. We did it twice. We did a ski bench rope climb, and then we did a bike erg lunge.
Yeah.
So I got to ask, after all these years, what movements are you not down for?
Heavy squatting. That's it.
Pistols.
That goes without saying.
That's
Pistols, heavy squatting.
real movement.
Pretty much it.
Running.
I'll still run. I run.
You don't like it.
I don't like it, but I do it.
Okay. Your handstand push-ups, rope climbs, you still like them. Ring muscle-ups, still like them.
Still good.
Okay.
Minus heavy squatting.
Heavy squatting.
And if I, like in squatting with a moderate weight, fast hurts as well. But if I can keep it pretty controlled and like a moderate weight, I'm all right. But as soon as it gets heavy, man, it's just left knee just does not like it. Yeah. A lot of shearing going on in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I would say that it's less preferential, more like just your human body condition.
Yeah, you can't.
It's not like like for me, it's like heavy snatching, right? Yep. Like my wrist just falls off like Deadpool, right?
What about you?
So I prefer to deadlift now more than I prefer to back squat, but I still do it. I do not prefer to do handstand push-ups, ring muscle-ups, or
bar muscle-up.
Maybe now and then, or full snatches. I
wish I could. That's the one movement that I'm like, man, I miss being able to like drop into a full snatch. I do miss that.
I don't know that you're at the Team USA in US
300.
You hit 300, 305.
That was one of the cooler moments in history.
First time in competition. However, Barbell Shrugged said 2020 was the first time it was hit in competition. That might have been. I don't even remember.
Dude, I remember.
Sorry, Barbell Shrugged.
I hit my clean and jerk. And I just have a video of you and me. I hit this clean and jerk. It wasn't the prettiest thing, but it got the weight up.
Done, and we won.
And I hit you like with this
clean and push.
I hit you with like this
chalk high five.
And it just like boom. I was like, let's go, Team USA.
Man.
There's a couple, and it's funny, right? You talk to anyone that competed at those events. And with
the
many
hardest
of them,
events we ever did.
And all these athletes had prolific careers. They say that those events are the highlight of their careers. It's not even a question.
For sure.
You talk to anybody.
You mean like the strength events?
No, just Team USA.
The Team USA, like there's, it's just, and I never competed, but I just, even watching, like, I'll be honest, I don't like watching CrossFit. Like, it's just like, it's not super enjoyable. That event, I do remember watching.
Yes.
And I remember vividly, I think maybe it was the Canada one. I was in the airport leaving a seminar, watching on my phone, and it was just electric to watch.
Awesome.
It's funny how like you guys talk about how awesome it was. It was also from it was
global perspective.
It was
cool
so
too.
It was
really cool.
That little nationalism,
Hey, I mean, again, just like we learned last year in the Four Nations and the hockey stuff. Like you get the USA and other people get fired up.
Dude, the pride comes into play.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we didn't make any money. I think we got like a stipend.
Oh yeah.
Who cares?
And it doesn't matter.
I remember the first year I got invited. Like, hey, like
we'll pay for your travel.
We'll pay for your travel. You want to represent the United States? I'm like,
without a question.
Yes, I still have the jacket.
I have the jacket. I have you remember just the blue shirt that Castro?
Yes, the one that said Team USA. When we went to that place
just says CrossFit.
That place in Malibu. Remember we got the oxygen things done?
No, I didn't get to do that.
You didn't get to
I wasn't
do that.
there. You guys did a VO2 max.
VO2 max
thrusters.
Doing thrusters. We had a VO2 max machine on us doing thrusters. I remember that.
75 pounds or was it 95?
I don't know if it was our front. Whatever the hell we were doing.
Whatever.
We were wearing a machine, and that was an interesting experience, man.
I love that.
Dude, we've had some good ones, dude.
Dude, those events though, because it was like a 2-hour turnaround.
Well, that's the
90 minutes even.
People were just laid out everywhere. Remember those? Like you'd walk back there and people are just like dead because it was like, all right, next workout. When they started adding more teams, it got better. But man, I remember Cara Saunders PR'd her snatch in the warm-up area and then didn't even get close.
Right.
Like,
of course,
bombed the snatch in the event. Like she's all fired up in the back. I think it was in San Jose, man. Gosh.
Like that, and that thruster, I think that was the Canada one. The thruster workout was like
45-45.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like one group did 45-45 and then the other group did Fran.
And and you guys were running, and that's when like Tremblay had his moment, remember? Because he can do thrusters 2 times faster.
Oh, yeah.
And I just remember like the pride of Canada, right? They were in Canada.
Yep, and then they couldn't legless though.
Or tire flip. The tire flip stopped them in their tracks.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he can't climb. Still can't climb rope. Yeah.
Tremblay.
It's been a good ride, man. It's been fun. You look back on some of those events, they were fun. The open announcement with like the champions one, that was cool.
That was cool.
The one where you and I did like that Fran-ish thing, that was cool until you won.
I still remember
that was the coolest venue.
When Castro came up to me, the only time I've ever seen Dave have a heart, it's a joke. He was like, "Are you okay?" In the middle of the workout. Yeah, I'm fine. Go away.
If you're gonna die over there.
You did this to us, because it was like you made it to the next thing, and
Dude.
And it was hot. Remember how hot?
Hella hot.
Steamy in there.
Yeah.
Just people's hot breath. There was no oxygen.
It was
in
just
there.
you and me on that stage, and it was every 4 minutes you had to like do something.
15 and 15 for 3 rounds, right?
You unlocked, and we just kept going, and then eventually, it was hot. It was like, dude.
Fudge.
Oh man,
just the
is that chest to bar pull-ups?
That was after that we were at your house. We did the bench. I'm pretty sure, or it might have been the champions one. I can't remember the thruster burpee.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I remember the first time a chest to bar pull-up ever came up was at the 2008 CrossFit Games required a chest to bar for the Fran.
Oh, okay.
And I had never done one before, and we got notice of it like a week in advance. That was pretty cool.
It's the only reason I was not at the 2009 games.
Because of the chest to bar?
Yeah, the SoCal Regional in 2009. I had to go to the medical tent afterwards after this workout and it was also like ripped off hands, but also it was in one of those sand pits where like if you're the fourth heat, the bar like you're taking it off your toes because it's dug so much in from a climb.
Deficit deads. Yeah,
and the other ones lined up really well. Just didn't work out. And then the last chance qualifier came. I remember the first time they did last chance.
Yes.
That's when Andy Hendel got in that way.
Andy Hendel.
Spencer. My bad.
Okay,
not Andy. Spencer got in through the last chance. So did Tommy Hackenbrook, and then he crushed it at the games.
Hey,
10.
You want a little throwback real quick? I mean, I know this podcast is probably going really long.
Sorry,
but
we can do 2 parts.
Rogue again faster throwdown.
We
were on
the wrong team.
When you were on the,
we were on again faster.
We were like the new kids on the block,
dude.
We were like the young, like we were so like just like
me, Hobart, Maliolo, and then you had all you old guys on there.
Dude,
Pat Barber.
2009 games, I wore Rogue shorts. I wish we should pull. This is gonna be like because I got sponsored by Rogue after winning the games in 08.
Yep.
And they gave me like Adidas shorts that they
put
like
the Rogue
heat
logo on.
printed Rogue on in red. And to see where that business has gone over the years is just incredible. But that Rogue again faster. I remember we had these like baller houses or whatever it was, and we would just like be driving. And people don't know, like, literally, we would be driving, and Dave would be like, okay, you see that hill? We're going to run up that hill, and we're going to, like, do something at the top. And, like...
Race to the hill.
Dude, I just remember, like, the event...
it was like Twilight. You're, like, running through the woods.
Yeah, we were on all fours.
But do you remember that one event where we were, like, at a park, and you had, like... But it was always, like, someone versus someone else, right?
Yeah.
And you had, like, go
sometimes
up and over,
partners, sometimes it was 4-person.
How about the paddleboard?
Oh, I forgot about and somebody had to be... Was it me and you? Were you in my ass?
Was it?
We were both on the same paddleboard.
Dude, I grabbed
Was I in your ass?
Yeah.
And you called the front?
I think so. Gosh, we got to go back and find that.
Oh, good. I think I blocked that from my memory.
There was no uncommon movement standard back then, so I grabbed onto the kayak.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I do remember that
Why
now.
not? Why not?
They said, hey,
I was so
kayaks.
pissed.
Yes, here's some kayaks. Here's some paddle boards.
You got to go around that
Everybody
buoy.
has to go.
It was so
Get
cold.
it done.
Yeah.
And Jason, we look over and they're paddling or like kayaking, and Jason's just hanging on.
He's holding on. Yeah, you were just like, and it gives the look like.
Yeah, like gotcha. Gosh, we got to go back and find that one.
I forgot all about that
Me
event.
too. I didn't even remember that one.
Dude, that was a good time in Tahoe at elevation. Man, but my favorite one was that hill because like literally we're driving in like this like van, and Dave's like, "Hey, pull over.
We'll meet you at the top.
We'll meet you at the top." And I just remember we got to the top. I was exhausted.
I got like second or third on a run.
Yeah, because all of us went out.
Everybody went.
I think
because you didn't know the distance, you didn't know anything. You're just like, get to the top of the hill.
Spieler's like walking. I remember because Spieler's like, you guys are idiots. Like, Spieler understands elevation, right? Like, and I just remember going up this thing, and there's like all of us meatheads. We're like running up this thing like we're about to like turn into werewolves, right?
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
because I look over and you just see people, right? And it's like woods.
Yeah, and then you get to. I mean,
it was about to be at a development too, so there were like roads that went up. So you'd come up to a road and you're like, nope, next one.
You were just like,
and you're just
purple
through the
lipped, frothy mouth, like, and just like. And we're like walking, like it was awful.
Dude, remember Camp Pendleton? So we swim. So all 3 of us were actually like together
I
on
had
this.
no business being in the water at that point either.
We swam with a shark.
I can't believe
and then
I didn't die.
we get out of the ocean. We grab our bikes, and they're single speed. And so you can only go so fast on these because they're single speed bikes.
And the bike was you swam 750 meters.
You were swimming.
Bike
like
2 minutes.
A mile.
Yeah,
And then 11K run.
Dude, the bike was so. I remember thinking to myself, like, okay, I got a BMX background. Like, I'm gonna get on the bike. I'm gonna smash it. And dude, I get on there, and like there was a little bit of sand we had to like go through or whatever.
People just eating it.
That was
Dude,
the best.
I remember people going.
Somebody stole Ben Smith's bike.
Yeah.
Someone stole Ben's bike. I just remember because I wasn't first out of the water. I just heard people saying, "Get off before the sand."
Yeah.
Because you see people go into the stand, that front wheel hit, and they just barrel roll.
So we're at one point there's a downhill, right? I remember this specifically. The three of us are like kind of together, and we're pedaling as fast as we can, but you just can't go any faster because you're on a single speed
really
bike.
Understand it
I had no idea what was
so
happening.
I'm trying to like get aerodynamic and like get down and like whatever. And dude, we get to the spot and like, okay, you dump the bike in the first finish line. That's one
score.
One event, one score. So I'm like, all right, man. Like when we get here, I'm gonna dump this bike. I'm gonna sprint up this hill. I'm gonna beat these fools.
And this hill was like,
dude,
legit.
so we all get off the bike at the same time. Basically, like, ghost ride the bike, like dump it.
Oh, yeah.
And we're sprinting. Like I'm taking off my helmet as we're sprinting, whatever. And maybe it was like, I don't know. What do you think? How many yards? 200 yards?
200-300 yards, but it's straight up.
Straight up. And dude, we're sprinting. And all of us get to the finish line of this event, and just collapse.
And walk.
Yeah, and we start walking. Yeah, and I see like Hackenbrook like walking backwards or something like that. Yeah.
I still remember Malio, like, where there's a big group of us. It's so weird because you're in a competition, right? And we're all like,
Oh,
all
he's
right.
like, yeah, the timer?
Austin's like, all right, we're going to do some intervals. We're going to run for 30. We're going to walk for 30.
I do remember.
And we did that for like 6 cycles. And you guys are like, we're going to keep going. I'm like, nah, dude, I'm done. Because it was the first mile, you went up a mile.
Yeah.
Essentially, I think is what it was, like Microwave Mountain or something.
And then down.
And I'm like, bro, whatever. And I just walked the entire, which shocking for everybody. But I remember passing so many people on the back half because people were messed up from running that hill.
Spieler was going downhill.
I literally would just find a hill and reckless abandon down the hill.
Yeah.
And you would just pass people. I still remember probably 5K into that run. You're running, and all of a sudden I'd hear, ah! Like, what the hell's going on? Ah! And I'm like, I come around a corner and it's Dan. Ah! And he's like, his calves are and he's just screaming.
Dude, that event had so much to unpack. 'Cause I was at that point, so we all finished and we're all together. Then to your point, Austin's like, hey, we'll do like 20 seconds on or whatever it was. And we did that for a little bit and it was like, hey, dude, like some of us are out, right?
I'm out.
So I was out. And they kept doing their thing.
Yep.
And so I'm jogging, whatever. And at that point, dude, after like 10 miles, like you start to separate.
Yeah.
So I got to a point probably, I don't know, an hour into the race.
By yourself.
And I'll never forget, like, dude, I walk up to this Marine. Because remember there was Marines at these checkpoints.
It's just around the corner.
They would just lie to you.
It's all downhill from here.
They lied to you.
And I'd be like, at this point, you're not running. So you're like walking. I was like, excuse me, sir. You're like, how much further do I have? Like, you have 1 mile left, sir. I'm like, hell yeah. And like, you put on the jets, dude. And then you get like, you'd be like, dude, well, I mean, shit.
I didn't have a watch to know how far I was.
But you'd be like, well, dude, this feels like a mile for sure. And you'd see the next guy. You'd be like, and then after like probably 2 or 3 guys, I was just like, dude,
these guys
just messing with us. And, but I got in the middle of this and you hear like, because we're at Camp Pendleton. So you're hearing like gunships go off and
but you guys were in a helicopter, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I didn't get in a helicopter, but
they would like swooping down.
Yeah.
dude.
But they had a service.
Like, it was a whole thing. But at one point, like we're in the middle of nowhere, and I think I don't know. Maybe I'm just making this up, but I thought I saw like a scorpion like crossing the path, and I'm like exhausted. It's like it's totally like
there was one water station,
and it was like they were all like empty. It was like someone like blasted it off. Yeah.
At least I will say I saw Spieler, and he was messed up, right? Because he had severe cramping.
I asked him if he wanted me to carry him.
So you know what? I reflected on that event after I was done, and I asked him the same question and I said to myself, I'm not a terrible human because we were in the middle of nowhere, and I was like, hey man, do you need me to carry you out? Like, because at that point, like I was legitimately worried for him.
Yeah.
But I remember saying to myself after the event was over,
could I have actually carried him out?
I was like, I actually feel like that was a good thing. At least I had that reaction. Like, I finished that event.
You come around that corner. And you could see the finish. Remember that? You came over the hill, and then you knew.
And then there was like that flat.
But it was still windy still through there. But man, you could look down and you're like,
I see it.
And you see that huge
I
obstacle.
peed myself.
And then the obstacle course.
Finishing that event, I peed myself for the first time.
Just like on your legs?
Since you were in diapers, you mean?
Yeah. Like I finished the event, and I was so exhausted, mentally, physically, whatever. I laid on the ground. I ended up just peeing myself. I don't think I've ever said that. That's what happened.
This is good for you.
And then afterwards, like we recovered, and then we had that obstacle course.
Did you change?
I don't think so.
So you just owned it.
I just owned it.
Respect.
I think because at that point I was just like,
who cares?
I was just so out of it. Oh man,
that obstacle course.
That obstacle course, man.
Oh, that was demoralizing.
The only reason I made it to the final because Neil Maddox, he was light years ahead of the rest of us, and he tried to hop that last beam and just ate it. And I was like,
man, what an athlete! He comes to the men's club every week.
Does he?
Yeah,
That's
awesome.
How's he doing?
He's great, dude.
Good.
He's got a son, like younger son. He has older kids too, but like he's doing great. But
Awesome.
That's good.
Man, I could talk about these events. It's so funny because I imagine like if you're like a CrossFit historian or whatever, you're probably picking up on some stories. But like for me, it's like I'm just reminiscing with friends about some
events that we did.
Some times that really have impacted my life in more ways than
Scott would call canon events.
Canon events?
Canon.
Yeah.
You know, like
Candid.
canon.
Flagship.
Like you know how like certain things within like a
Makes
like
you
a,
who you
like
are.
a universe are a canon.
Yeah. Like Marvel movies.
You know, I say this a lot. Like when Ava first got sick, the best gift that CrossFit ever gave me was those events.
Yeah.
Because you're in the middle of them and you're trying to learn how to mentally push through, to be positive, to understand what's in your control. And like, dude, those events helped shape the way that like when you're having to overcome adversity, that's what happens. And like I think about a lot
Hard
for
things,
our kids.
man. Hard things.
Hard things are good.
Including like your time at the Navy SEAL obstacle course.
When you got stuck.
Which one? Yeah, I was there with you.
So okay.
I was
I was
behind
there
him.
the second time.
I was there behind him, and Khalipa, what do you think is 40 feet in the air?
The cargo net?
Yeah.
It's 100 feet in the air.
Jason thinks it's a mile in the
That cargo
air.
net is the highest thing I've ever,
I'm pretty
I'm
sure
sure
it's
we
either
can
40 or
grok that.
60.
I'll
It's
find
one or the
out.
other.
Yeah.
Rich, if you want to Google it.
I'll Google it.
Hugely difficult, right? So it's this cargo net that let's just say that it's 4 stories, right? It's huge.
40 or 60 feet, doesn't matter. It's high enough that if you fell off,
There were high consequences for sure.
If you fell off,
It would hurt. You're in sand, you know?
Well, Stump at the time is a buds instructor, and at the top, like everyone's trying to sweet talk Jason because he's having trouble getting over the top and like dealing with the fear. But Andy Stump's in there in his ear. Do you remember what he was saying?
50?
Horrible
50.
things.
So
Oh yeah, because he's at the top, right?
Here's what,
Yes.
Yeah, sitting there.
No, here's what happened.
But just whispering, very aggressive, like just beating up Jason mentally while he's already at his lowest
Dude,
point.
so we're with CrossFit HQ seminar staff at the time, and we get on the Navy SEAL obstacle course, and they let us play with everything except for we were not allowed to do the slide for life
Couldn't do the slide for life.
or at the time the cargo net. Those two things. We were able to go do everything else. And so we do everything else. Everything's great. I'm like, and I was just like looking at this cargo net and be like, dude, I have zero interest in that. I'll never forget. One by one, they're like, okay, if anybody wants to do the cargo net, you could do it. And everybody like lines up, and I'm like, kind of like trying to like hide. And then of course, at the time, I don't remember where I was at, like in the
Pecking order?
wherever, but like
The hazing order?
Yeah, hazing order. But Dave's like, all right, Jay, or whatever. And I'm just like looking at this thing. Dude, I'm just like, so I start going up, and I get up there, and you know, Andy Stump, he's a heckler, right?
Yeah.
So he's heckling me, talking shit.
Well, he and Dave were both at the time still active as buds instructors. And so they're used to just beating people up mentally.
Dude, so I get like maybe 3/4 of the way up. I'm like, okay, this is pretty high. And then I get all the way to the top. And at that point, you have to go up and over the obstacle.
It's legit.
It's legit.
Yeah, the up and over is legit.
And so I get to the top, and I think I might have even been shaking at this time. And Andy's like kind of give me shit. And I'll never forget. Andy, still to this day, he's like, bop, 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 bop. And all of a sudden he's like, he could see, like I'm visibly like very scared. He's like, okay, Jason. His tone changed. He's like, what I need you to do is I need you to keep your left hand where it's at. I need you to take your right foot and put it over the top, over this spot. And he like, and then after like I got up and over, he's like, all right, asshole, now go down. But
he cared for a second.
he cared for
He
a
like
second.
flipped the switch.
And I remember like at that second, be like, oh dude, I must be.
I'm going to die.
You know, there was guys to set the record that would go to the top and then let go and then grab on again.
Jeez.
So they had to make it illegal that like, because this was what I don't know who was telling me this. They would go they'd go over the top and they'd let go and then grab back halfway so that they could reach like the.
You can also like lay over, grab, and then fall over and catch.
We
did a little bit of that when we did the obstacle course at the games.
That's right. Yeah, well, you can do that. So you swing down. You're about like you're all the way you're down as far as your feet touch.
Oh yeah, the one at the games was how high?
20 feet tops.
Yeah.
Maybe.
A couple people fell, right?
Yeah.
Vellner and I think Fraser.
Got
both.
There's
their
that one of
got their
Fraser
arm
like
stuck
getting,
in.
or getting their foot stuck in there. Or
Yeah,
what?
something.
they look like a fish in the net.
But I think if I remember correctly, Vellner, if his foot didn't get stuck, he was going to really be hurt. Like it slowed him down enough, and then he fell.
filmed.
Right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It like broke at the fall.
Yeah, we had some, man, that's a whole nother podcast.
Should we do a whole nother episode just on like
Should. Yeah,
you guys said you guys want to do like
I want to
this
do it
remotely.
like all of us sit down and watch old videos and talk about just stuff that went on.
Here's what you don't know.
Like
Yeah.
behind the scenes. We got.
Why wouldn't we just put up a video of like, let's just say the burden run? I mean, I'm biased here.
Oh, of course. Here we go.
My lowest moment.
Let me pick a random one. Yeah, burn run.
One single event. You know, maybe triple threes. How about triple threes?
Yeah.
Lowest moment in my athletic career. Appreciate it.
How about the half marathon
Yours?
row?
Yeah.
There is a GIF of me walking.
Well, I literally came in the stadium like second and finished last.
The burden run? Or
yeah.
no, the
burden run.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, you couldn't pull the
yeah.
sled.
Just I couldn't pull the sled halfway.
Yeah, I remember
Well,
that.
because
And
everybody
you
was
got-
lifting the
Yeah,
front
I know.
of the
You guys
sled.
came up to me, started cheering me on. They're
I,
like, "Oh, yeah." I was like,
You're doing great, Ozzy.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
the
was
circle
demoral.
of
As the
death.
end, yeah, everyone passes me, and I'm just
man,
like,
that was one of those that like if you got it up on your shoulders and lifted the front of it, you could pull. And so I was pulling too. Is one of those that the standard was a really poor standard.
There was
it should have
none,
been
yeah.
the sled
Yes.
cross, but it was your feet.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
like I'm pulling, and then I look down and I'm like, and they're like, time, sweet,
Yeah.
you know,
Done.
Nailed it.
yeah,
yeah, you jumped.
I
too
went into
far.
that stadium and I just told myself, like, all right, I'm gonna pull this sled as hard as I can halfway, and then I'm just gonna take a breath. And I was, and
You
we
were
should.
ahead of everyone else.
What we should do, we should definitely do like we could do this virtually or whatever. We should play that video. We could talk through different
It has to be in person. Has to be in person.
I think it'd be
It's so
fun.
good.
Fine. You know what?
Fine. Are you coming back?
Yes. Next time I come back, we should do that on an event. We should pick like
No, we should pick like 10 of them and just do it.
just
Yep.
and maybe a series.
I think that was
Brilliant.
before you guys were. I think it was that same year because so you were still individuals, but they also gave the teams the segmented wooden log.
People like smashing
There-
fingers.
it was
and then didn't there be a
devastating.
bullet-
Even in the team, we did that on the beach. Remember that in 2015.
We didn't do segmented
They blew
worms,
their
but we did
eardrums
regular
out.
ones.
That's
but
right.
man,
Oh,
that
they were
workout was
cutting their
terrible. I
ears.
still remember. We're all swimming with those stupid paddle boards. I hate those
Oh, yeah.
stupid things.
Oh,
those life
those
rafts. And we're like in the inside. And Jason's like, "Move, guys, move!" And I'm like, "No, we're not moving." He's like, "Get out of the way!" No, that workout's still one of the worst work. I thought I had rhabdo on my hamstrings.
Dude, because remember we did like all those like things on the beach. Remember that? Like it was like we swam. We did a bunch of stuff.
We
on the beach.
deadlifted the freaking worm, swam, deadlifted it, and came back.
That's right.
In my hamstrings, that was the worst I've ever felt at the CrossFit Games. I could not tie my shoes because my hamstrings were so gone.
That's right.
I thought they were dead.
Well, I'm really excited about this Mayhem NC Fit collaboration.
We could do this for hours.
We could do, yeah.
We can keep going. Yeah. Oh man.
All right, Rory,
I am too.
tie a red thread on it.
Yeah, big things coming. So you guys, if you're an NC Fit part of the collective or you're a Mayhem affiliate, you've already heard this news. This is a deeper explanation for you guys. For the wider community, our hearts are in gyms. As you can tell from the enthusiasm on the old stories, we've been doing this for a long time, and it's because we love it. It's because we love you guys, and the goal is to just continue to pour resources into gyms until we're the point of exhaustion, and then to keep going from there too, just to make it the best experience you could ever imagine. So that's it, man. Red thread.
Red thread, tie bow on it. Another one. Peace.